What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wager Zone podcast, and on this episode we're going to be getting into LFA 187. We're coming off a pretty good week last week with UFC 303 and PFL 6. We did pretty good on both of our MMA cards, and we're coming back this week trying to make more money on this one. So we're just going to get right into this breakdown. For this week on this breakdown, we might not see like 2 or 3 of the fights are going to be on the card on this. We're not going to be breaking down a couple of the cards because I didn't see enough tape for a person. So I don't want to talk on a fight that I don't know much about. So if you see a fight that's not on here, like probably like the first fight of the night, most likely is not going to be on here. I can't remember the two guys' names. I think one of his names is Duarte, but I can't exactly find any tape really on both of them. So I don't want to come out here and give you guys some bullshit predictions or anything. So yeah, let's get into this first fight with let's try to say her name right. I think it's Fabrizia Caitlin versus Nwaria Ferreira. With this fight, I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. The odds are pretty even, almost even at this moment, with Ferreira being a plus 105 and Caitlin being a minus 125. So the odds are pretty close at the moment, and this is going to be our first underdog shot. I guess you can call it an underdog shot. She's a slight underdog at a plus 105, and this is going to be our first shot at it. I think watching the tape, she has a really good single leg, and she isn't scared to take a punch. She walks forward, she throws some punches, and she tries to get you to the floor. And her jiu-jitsu, she looks pretty elite. Like when she gets to the floor, she tries to get you in arm bars, triangles. She tries to just throw up, like she really goes for a triangle all the time, like so an arm triangle I should say. But so she's really good at her arm bars. And when you go to someone like Fabrizia Caitlin she has pretty decent striking. Like she walks forward, but with her having a really long base, she doesn't really know how to use her hips to sprawl as well. So I think this is a perfect chance where striking will be pretty even going in, and then Ferreira will probably catch her with a double leg or a single leg, push her against a fence, go down to a single leg, and run the pipe down and just pull her onto the floor and end up finishing this fight probably via submission in the first and second round. So, yeah, guys, that's probably going to be my prediction for the fight. I think Ferreira could actually pull off a submission victory, and even if she doesn't submit her and finish the fight, I still think she's going to win a fight via decision by the ground control. So, yeah, give me Nwaria Ferreira at a plus 105 for the first fight of the night, guys. Next fight, guys, with Guilherme Uriel versus Wesley Alec, and I'm going to be going with Uriel in this fight. He hits pretty hard with the tape I've seen. He just has a gassing problem, but maybe he can come back into this fight and not just try to throw so hard and throw all his punches out. And with someone like Wesley Alec, and you can't really find any tape on this guy. The only thing you can find on him is that his picture looks like he's like, honestly, like he's just getting out of jail, like Brazilian jail, and he's ready to like swing on some people. But if you go and look at his record, I think he's a fraud. Like he's fought people that are 0-4, 0-3, 0-2, and his 2 wins are coming off of they've been flagged on Tapology because they're like known as ill-eligible MMA wins, because he's fighting guys that are 0-4 and 0-3. Like, they're not even winning. Like, they're guys that shouldn't even be in the sport. And then if you go on one of his pictures with a guy that's 0-4, he has a picture of the guy that he's fought has a picture of Chuck Norris in black and white. And it's kind of crazy with how like people try to do this in the sport, and they go and put names on a record, and then they try to send it in just so they can get a name on their record, and they get into sports, like get into companies like LFA. And I just think he's a fraud. And when I see stuff like that on your Tapology where it says you have ill-eligible wins and they're trying to take wins away from you, I'm just like, I hope you lose. And I just hope you lose, because like you're not a person that belongs in this sport when you're out here like faking your wins. And someone like Guilherme Uriel has actually been inside the ring. I've actually watched his fights, and where he's actually been in the tough zone, where he's taking some hard shots and he's gassed out. And someone like Alex going to come here and fake his way in here. I just hope Uriel's going to go in there and knock him out, and that's the bet I'm going to be going with. I'm going to be going with Uriel at a minus 180 to win this fight. Into this next fight, guys, with Lany Silva versus Paloma Mara. This is one of my most confident picks of the night. I'm going to be putting her, Silva, in a 3-leg parlay for the prelims. I'm going to be telling you along the way like which ones I'm going to be putting her in the parlay with. And then, yeah, just go down to the description as well, and you will find all my bets in there, and I will update it along the way. But, yeah, getting into this fight with Lany Silva, like, I think she's really good, guys. Like, she lost one of the fights because she just got like inexperience, and she yeah, she's inexperienced. She lost to an underdog, but she fought an experienced fighter. But you learn from stuff like that. And if you watch her, like, she has all the skills everywhere. She fights with a good gym where one of her training partners, Andre Lima, just went into the UFC, and he's just coming off a great win himself. So if you watch her, she's very composed. She doesn't throw any wild punches. She doesn't throw anything that's gonna get her in trouble. She's really smart, but just that one loss she had, it just showed that she had like the inexperience where she got taken down a couple of times. But then if you look at that third round, she started coming on the other girl. Like, she started beating the other girl's ass, and she almost won the fight. It was a split decision loss, and you could have even said she won the fight. But this is one of my most confident picks. Most of my most confident picks of the night in Lany Silva. She's a minus 370, or minus 373, or minus 350. But we're gonna be putting in a 3-leg parlay, and yeah, she's one of our most confident picks of the night. So this is gonna be the first leg of one of our prelim parlays. Hey guys, this is gonna be the second leg of our prelim parlay of the 3 legs, or the second leg of the 3-leg parlay we're gonna be putting out with Joao Moraes. I just think he's gonna honestly probably kill this guy, Nwaria Gonzalez. Nwaria Gonzalez, if you watch his tape, like, he's not that good. He seems like a guy that should, like, probably like a taxi driver that's trying to get a fight. Like, he probably trains on the side, and LFA offered him because this is Brazil versus all of South America, and they just were looking for some fighters to throw in there. And with someone like Joao Morales, he's actually a pretty good prospect. I might actually be in the UFC one day. So I just think they're just giving him a bone just for a dog to eat here. And I think he's going to go out here and knock this dude out in the first or second round. You're going to see him come in here. He's going to throw a whole bunch of leg kicks and eventually just take him out in the first or second round. He's a minus 2,000 favorite, but we're going to put him in the parlay with Silva. And yeah, second leg of the parlay, one of the most confident picks of the night. And the betting odds tell you, one of the most confident picks of the night, guys. Okay, and we're getting to this next fight with Eduardo Dutra versus Abraham Racho. And this fight, it's gonna be two guys that want to get the fight to their floor. Their striking is okay. They both know how to throw a punch, but they're mainly jiu-jitsu guys that want to get the fight to their floor. And one with Dutra is actually trying to submit you and actually throw a whole bunch of submissions up and try to finish the fight all times. Where someone like Abraham Racho, he's trying to get on the top of you, have some top pressure, and he doesn't care about riding those rounds out. So in today's MMA, like, I don't think with someone like with Racho, I don't think he's going to be able to lay and pray like he wants to do in today's game. But he fights out of shoot box with Diego Lima, so those guys probably have some pretty good jiu-jitsu over there, some pretty good fighters out of there. But if you're going to tell me, you're going to give me a plus on Eduardo Dutra, that's this young prodigy that's coming up in jiu-jitsu, and if I've seen his fights, he has really good double leg takedowns. He goes for submissions right away. He pretty smart. Like, he seems like he's this new age of MMA that's coming forward, where these guys are really smart and have great fight IQ at a young age, great jiu-jitsu, and great double legs and takedowns. The hands will eventually come, but yeah, guys, you're gonna give me him at a plus 110 and a slight underdog. I'm gonna take Eduardo Dutra at a slight underdog in this fight. Okay, and this one, guys, this is probably going to be our quickest breakdown of the whole thing. It's going to be a Vladimir Calvo or pass. I really couldn't find any tape on Leonardo Mesquita besides him landing a hard shot and some highlights that were probably about like 30-40 seconds, where he landed a couple hard shots where I can see he throws some punches, heavy punches, but his hands are down, his chin is up in the air, and I didn't see him try to stop a takedown. Like, no takedown was even thrown at him, so I don't know anything about his takedown defense. I know Vladimir Calvo is trying to get you to the floor. He's fought some Russians before. He's fought some good grapplers, and he's able to get them to the floor and hold top position. So, yeah, guys, and this is going to be a quick breakdown. It's to me, it's either take Vladimir Calvo on and probably throw him in a parlay, or just pass on it in general, to be honest. Okay, guys, this is going to be our last leg of the 3-leg parlay. We're going to be going with Hugo Paiva to be beating Rodrigo Rodon. I think a lot of people think it's going to be a competitive fight with Rodrigo Rodon coming out of Argentina as a high-ranked person, but with Hugo Paiva, his boxing is really great, and he's starting to put it all together now, where he's had some losses to Felipe Santos, but if you see in the Felipe Santos fight, he actually had a really great fight, and he's putting his boxing starting together now, his wrestling starting to come together now recently in the regional scenes. He's starting to get some double legs, some judo throws, and his boxing is already there. So yeah, this is going to be the third leg of the card. And just like I said about the other two with the Moraes and Silva, I think he's going to be on his way to the UFC soon. I think he's one of the higher prospects in LFA that we should be keeping our eyes on. So yeah, give me a Hugo Paiva as a third leg of the parlay, and that parlay is going to be coming out to a -150. You put all three of them together, guys. So come on, guys, it's going to be our 3-leg parlay. So let's hit that parlay on our prelims for the night. Okay, guys, getting into this next fight, and this one is going to be a tale of two different styles between Ingilson De Lara versus Lucas Militich. This fight's going to come down to if Lucas Militich can get this fight to the floor. If he can get this fight to the floor, I think he's honestly going to be dominating Ingilson De Lara. But if he can't get this fight to the floor, he's going to be outgunned in the stand-up game. Ingilson De Lara has shown that he has some pretty powerful shots. He has some quick 1-2s. He has some powerful hooks, and he actually knows how to place a shot pretty well. But when I've seen him getting taken down to the floor, he literally just lays on the floor, and he doesn't know what to do, looking like a fish out of water, just laying there squirming around. So that's why I say this fight's going to be a tale of two different styles. So yeah, and this fight is going to be very close. That's why I'm not going to be having too much investment in this fight. But if I'm going to have a bet on this fight, but it's not going to be too much of an investment. I'm going to be taking Lucas Militich in this one. I do think he's going to end up getting to this fight to the floor. And if he gets this fight to the floor in the first round, Ingilson De Lara is going to have pretty bad, hard trouble getting back up, and then he's probably going to tire himself out, and then the second and third round takedowns for Lucas is going to be pretty easy for him, and I just see him going to be able to get a third round submission after Ingilson tires himself out. But like I said, it's going to be a close fight, and if Lucas Militich doesn't get this fight to the floor right away, he's probably going to get knocked out in the first round. He's probably going to take one hard shot, and he might even fold over right away, so don't be shocked if you see Ingilson De Lara knocking him out. But okay, guys, getting into this next fight with Elisa, I think it's Bertolso versus Alexandra Fernandez. This is going to be a quick breakdown, guys. She's going to be one of the legs. I have a 5-leg parlay in the main card of a lot of the big favorites because a lot of them I think are going to win, but I will get into the underdogs that I do think they have a chance if you do want to hedge out on your 5-leg parlay that I'm going to be putting. So I'm going to be hedging out on some of them, put a little bit just to win some money back, and probably and some, just it depends how far we get into the parlay. I'll let you guys know later which ones I think have a chance of winning, but yeah, this is going to be a quick breakdown. I think Elisa is going to be way better than her. I think she's going to piece her up right away. She's probably going to finish this fight in the second round. And this other girl, Alejandra Fernandez, there's not that much tape on her. The fight you do see with her, she seems really young, and she doesn't really seem like she's put all together. She knows jiu-jitsu, but her hands are not all the way there. And I think Lisa's going to probably just piece her up right away and knock her out in the second round. It's going to be a quick finish. Guys, get into this next fight with Pedro Duretto versus I think it's Leandro Solano. Yeah, so getting into this next one, this is going to be another underdog play in this fight where I think I saw a lot of people are thinking really high on Pedro Duretto. I am not, honestly. I've seen him. He seems like he takes a punch and he folds over right away. He does not have a chin at all. I've seen him drop twice in the fights that I've seen him fight in, and he doesn't really have a chin at all. And it seems like when things start not going his way, he kind of just gives up and he starts pouting about it. And his jiu-jitsu has been helping him recently get out of situations with submissions out of nowhere, and he just finishes this. But I think on this fight, he's going to run into an actual dog in Leandro Solano. Solano hits really hard. I probably think he's going to drop Duretto. Duretto probably takes one shot from Solano, then he's probably going to end up dropping. And Solano has really good ground control as well. He has really good top pressure. He drops heavy shots, elbows. So yeah, dude, give me this as an underdog. Give me Leandro Solano as an underdog. I think he's going to end up getting the finish on Pedro. I think he's going to end up knocking him out via either probably a right hook or a straight right hand, or he's going to take him down and finish him via ground and pound with elbows. I'm not really high on Pedro Duretto. I think he's probably one of the guys that are going to do horrible for the heavy favorites. So if you're heavy on Pedro Duretto, just leave in the comments why, honestly, because I don't see it. I think Leandro Solano is a good underdog play, and I think he's going to end up knocking him out. Into this next fight for Apollo Gomez fighting against Lionel Aboger. I think Apollo Gomez is a lock for this fight. As of right now, he's a -350. I think the line's going to jump on him. He's also going to be part of that 5-leg parlay I throw in there with Bert. I think it's Bertolso. I think they're both locks in this one. I think they're both going to end up in the UFC. I think Apollo Gomez is going to end up taking him down, top pressure. Then if he eventually gets back up, more pressure, 1-2s, kind of like that pressure where he walks you down and doesn't stop walking forward, then take you down, then 1-2s walking forward until you get tire yourself out, and then eventually you give up on yourself because there's that pressure coming forward to where he gasses you out and eventually finishes you. So yeah, I'm gonna be throwing him into that 5-leg parlay, and he's gonna be one of the confident picks for me, where I think he's gonna go in there and beat Lionel pretty easily. Guys, getting into this next one as well, I think this is another one I'm pretty confident in. Samuel Diaz versus Renzo Corti. I think Samuel Diaz is gonna go in there and he's probably gonna honestly knock him out in the first round. He hits really hard. His jiu-jitsu seems pretty good. His wrestling seems okay. And the only way that Renzo wins this fight, I think, is if he takes him down. And I don't see him taking him down. He's not stronger than him. Samuel Diaz has pretty good takedown defense. He's bigger. So, yeah, this is another one I'm going to be pretty quick on, where I think Samuel Diaz is also going to be a part of that 5-leg parlay. And I think he's going to go in there and just demolish Renzo, probably with the first round knockout, or maybe even right in the beginning of the second round. I can see a knockout right away. Yeah, this is going to be another one that we're throwing into that 5-leg parlay. But this is going to be one of the ones I told you guys earlier that you could hedge out on, with Marcos Degil versus Ignacio Fernandez. Marcos seems pretty good. He has pretty good pressure. He has really good hands, has good takedowns, and he seems like a really good all-around fighter. But the tape that I've seen of Ignacio Fernandez, he's not no slump either. Like, he's not no bitch at all. Like, he knows how to fight. He goes in there, he throws down with you. He's had a lot of good fights in Argentina, and he's been doing really good out there in the regional scene. So he's one of those guys, if you guys are looking for an underdog to just throw some money on that has a chance of winning, Ignacio Fernandez might be one of those. I do see this fight going to decision, and it could get greasy where it ends up being a split decision where Marcos ends up winning the fight. Like, I do think he's going to win the fight. He's going into my 5-leg parlay, but I'm going to be putting probably a little bit on Ignacio Fernandez if it gets there with the first 3 winning, and then we get to this fight. I'll probably throw just a little bit just to hedge out the bets, just so. Ooh, guys, look at that one. We just scored Shamrock Rovers. If you guys watch our soccer play, that's 1-0. Oh, about to win a bet. But yeah, getting back into this, like I'm telling you guys, this is going to be one that I think Ignacio Fernandez is going to probably a good underdog shot, but I'm going to be taking Marcos Degil in my parlay. But yeah, if you're on Ignacio for a big underdog play, I'm not against you guys. He looks pretty decent, but I think there's levels to this, and I think Marcos is going to end up winning. All right, guys, we're going to be getting into this main event, the last fight of the night, with Carlos Leo versus Manuel Mena. But yeah, this one is the last leg of the 5-leg parlay. We're going to be adding Carlos Leo. He's a minus 1,000 favorite of right now, and it might actually be climbing a little bit higher. But this is another one, right? If we get to the end, we're probably going to hedge out with Manuel Mena as well, because Carlos Leo looks pretty good, but Manuel Mena looks pretty decent. He doesn't look like he's horrible, so Carlos Leo's probably going to go out there, honestly. He might knock him out in the first round, but if he doesn't knock out Manuel in the first round, his fight actually might get a little greasy, and that's why if you have a ticket on Manuel at the end of the night, like, that actually might be a pretty good underdog play. You might be sitting there at the end of the night and just win a whole bunch of, say you lose all your bets for the whole night, and then Manuel Mena goes out there and wins the fight with the big underdog play. Boom, you're profitable for the night. So if you're on Manuel, I'm not shitting on you anyway in the form at all, but yeah, we're going to be adding Carlos Leo to that 5-leg parlay. Then that 5-leg parlay, guy, is going to be coming out to a plus 116. And yeah, a lot of heavy favorites, but I think they're almost all those guys are going to end up in the UFC. But like I said, the two I think is going to have a chance of losing is Carlos Leo. He's one, and then Marcos Degil. Like, those two are the ones that have a chance, but I still do think they're going to win this fight. If it ends up going to decision in those fights, I probably think it's going to get a little greasy, but they'll probably end up still winning. But yeah, that's the 5-leg parlay, and that's going to be giving it all for all of our LFA 187, Brazil versus Latin America, guys. We're going to be watching this. Hopefully we win some money. We've been profitable in our last 2 MMA cards. Let's get onto this one. Hopefully we do really well in this one, guys. Follow our bets, like, comment, and subscribe to the page. And also follow the Wager Zone Instagram, guys. It's _wager_zone. Just keep coming back, guys, every single week. We're going to try to win you guys some money, win some money for ourselves, and just keep feeding our families with these bets, guys. That's what we're planning to do. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good 4th of July, guys.